Good morning, Violet Dew from Corporate Communication Experts. Today I'm going to talk to you about passive-aggressive communication. Passive communication is something that I cover in my assertive communication workshop. And obviously there's different styles of communication. There is passive, there is aggressive, there's passive-aggressive, and there's assertive. And obviously where we want to move to in most situations is to be assertive, to be clear and honest in our communication. And today I want to focus on my favourite style, in the sense of what I mean by favourite. It's more evident in workplaces than ever before. People talk about it and managers and leaders are aware of it. And at the same time, they may be contributing to passive-aggressive behaviour themselves and not be aware of how they may be moving to a passive-aggressive style. So what does passive-aggressive communication look like? The typical behaviour that you would see is where people withdraw and maybe stop talking. So there's silence. They disengage, they may attend meetings late, they may not contribute to meetings as much as they have in the past, they may not ask questions, they really can often shut down because they feel hurt and angry and they haven't got the skills to have that honest conversation and say how they feel. So rather than being overt, they move to covert behaviour. Some of the typical behaviours that I see and hear about around passive-aggressive communication is complaining and whinging and bitching, and rather than doing that directly to the person and being honest again, it's often at in the tea room or going out for lunch and complaining and whinging about the other party. It may be the leader introducing a new idea, a new policy direction, and you find that your team are being very agreeable. In reality, they are not on side, and you may find some people through passive-aggressive behaviour will start to sabotage the project by not contributing, not meeting deadlines, not providing material, not sharing information. Some of those are the typical behaviours that you see in someone that is choosing to communicate passive-aggressively. Now, how do you deal with passive-aggressive behaviour? The first tip I have is that it really comes down to yourself. Being more self-aware and tuned into yourself and picking any situation where you might find yourself moving to passive-aggressive behaviour. Because if you are operating from a passive-aggressive style of communication, then you're not in a position really to be giving people feedback about their communication. And as we know, people will be watching, and if they see you behaving poorly, then that is not a reflection of the behaviours that you want to see in the workplace. So first, spot it in yourself, and then number two is learn to spot it in others. And rather than blame or get defensive, I think it's important to shift to a position of curiosity. Now, curiosity means in terms of really trying to understand why someone might be operating or communicating from a position of passive-aggressive. And often underneath passive-aggressive is someone who feels hurt and angry and doesn't necessarily feel safe or doesn't have the skills to be honest with you. So spot it in yourself, spot it in others, move to curiosity to understand why you may be being passive-aggressive yourself, and also try to understand why the other party may be choosing to be passive-aggressive. And really, I think it is about then trying to have a conversation about what you've noticed in their behaviour. And do this from a position of not blame or attack or defensiveness, but a position of like wanting to understand where they're coming from, so that you have a shared understanding, so that you can move forward and reduce the risk of passive-aggressive behaviour. If you're interested in learning more about passive-aggressive behaviour, I will be in Karratha and Darwin in October running workshops. Thank you.